Hey, I'm Maria Hedian, a former corporate professional turned CEO and fashion career educator. At 15, I decided I was going to be in the fashion industry and set out to find my path, no matter what that took. With zero industry context, I worked job after job, some of them completely unpaid, in order to find my way into this exclusive industry. Knowing the hardships of getting into the fashion industry firsthand, I took 20 plus years of personal experiences and turned them into tools to help you turn your passion into confidence and your dreams into reality. Join me each week as we discuss all of your career questions and identify behind-the-scenes industry strategies and techniques. Every episode is designed to help you take immediate action that will take your fashion career to the next level. Together, we will make your fashion career dreams a reality. This is Into the Fashion Industry. In today's episode, I want to tell you a personal story that has turned into one of my biggest lessons I now teach my students about the power of networking and how to use it to create possibilities for yourself by pushing past your comfort zone and taking initiative. Networking is defined as the action or process of interacting with others to exchange information and develop professional contacts. So why don't more of us take advantage of it? For one thing, it isn't taught in a practical, real-life scenario type of way. In college, we were told time and time again that going to networking events would lead to all sorts of opportunities. You know, those events where everyone has a name tag and awkwardly finds a person to talk to while holding a drink in one hand and a business card in the other. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that they don't. I'm sure that if you know how to work the room and you initiate compelling conversations, this method will work wonders for you. However, I was never one of those people. Quite the opposite, actually. I am what is known as an extroverted introvert. Growing up, I didn't mind large, loud crowds of people because my family is large and loud. At the same time, though, there was always a social anxiousness about me. Whether it was overthinking what I should have said, being hesitant about saying the wrong thing, or replaying the thing that I did say over and over again, all while trying to hold a conversation. It was exhausting. So what changed? For one thing, I wanted my voice to be heard. I had all of these experiences and lessons that I wanted to put out into the world with the hope of helping others. It took me some time to realize that this meant being an educator, and I suspect that the moment I gave myself this new title and this new goal, with it came some newfound courage to do the hard stuff, which in my case was networking. At the height of the pandemic, there was an app that surfaced called Clubhouse. I'm sure many of you have heard of it and are probably even on it now. Back in 2020, the only way in was if you were an iPhone user and a friend invited you. Otherwise, you were waitlisted and you were kept out until someone let you in. For those of you that have either never heard of it or never used it, let me explain. Clubhouse is an audio-based app that allows members to create rooms. These rooms are really just a space within the app where you can discuss anything you want. You create a title, invite members in, and you choose whether it's a private or a public room. Once inside your room, there are two areas: the stage where the creator and anyone else that they've invited up there is, and then the audience. Any members on stage have the ability to speak while everyone in the audience can only listen. Essentially, the room's creator and their moderators on stage have the power to mute someone and bring them down to the audience area from the stage where they lose the option to turn on their microphone. This is actually great for when you're doing things like teaching, reading, or even putting on a show, as no one can interrupt. Clubhouse got so popular that at one point, the members of the Broadway show The Lion King did the entire show audio only. It was amazing. The industry followed suit and even held public singing auditions for other shows like Hamilton and Phantom of the Opera. Things got pretty wild. Anyway, at first, this shiny new app did not interest me at all, until I realized the potential it had for reaching new students and teaching them fashion career lessons. That's exactly what I did. For months, I would spend more hours on the app than I'd like to admit. I taught fashion career masterclasses on Mondays and Wednesdays and hosted fashion rooms Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. These rooms were usually made up of panels with speakers from all over the world with varying levels of experience. The first few classes that I taught were a complete disaster. My heart would race and my palms would get sweaty. For some reason, speaking into my phone, knowing people from all over the world were listening and not being able to see their faces was even more daunting to me than these networking events I always hated to attend. Over time, though, I started to see that the stories I told and the lessons I taught on the app were actually helping students, recent grads, and people all over the world that had an interest in fashion as a career. It was this that gave me the strength to continue showing up day after day, hour after hour, until I got comfortable speaking. One of the most popular rooms I hosted was a weekly networking focus room called Fashion Connections. I'd invite every single person that joined the room to come up on stage and introduce themselves, then provide either information that can help others starting out in the industry, or if they were new, they can ask an industry question that anyone in the room could answer. During one of those rooms, a woman came up and introduced herself. She was an industry veteran who took the concept of Market Week and showrooms and turned them into a virtual experience as a way to keep her business and the industry going during what seemed like a never-ending pandemic. I was so impressed and so intrigued by what she had done that I decided to reach out to her separately outside of the app and invite her to continue the conversation on a Zoom call. I was excited to speak with her because I was genuinely curious to know more about what she was doing and how she was doing it. I found her idea to be so innovative and resourceful. Those of you who know me know that those are my two absolute favorite qualities in a professional. I listened to her story, how she came up with her new business model and her vision for it in the future. And when it was my turn to speak, I told her all about my fashion career and the programs that I had created to help others break into the industry. It was overall a really great conversation. So great that at the end of it, she mentioned she wanted to connect me with someone who was looking for speakers at a fashion school. She thought this could help me get in front of more students and soon-to-be grads, and of course, I immediately said yes, excited for the possibility of speaking to students. The woman she connected me with turned out to be the person in charge of a continuing education program at none other than the Fashion Institute of Technology, FIT, my dream school. We talked for almost 3 hours about our careers, our experiences backstage at Fashion Week, where we both had worked over 20 seasons. And at the end of our conversation, as casually as if she was asking me to pass her the remote, she said, "How would you like to teach at FIT?" It was then I realized that our conversation had not really been a conversation at all, but an interview. I immediately said yes, and I asked her what she wanted me to teach. She said, networking. Oh, the irony of ironies. The girl who once hated networking events and speaking in public was now going to be teaching a course based on both. It kind of felt like I had come to an internal full circle. Ironically, this happened exactly 1 year ago today. Now, had you told me 2 years ago that I'd be teaching at FIT, I would have laughed and told you that my social anxiety never would have allowed me to do something as intimidating as that. Yet here we are. Now, there are a few reasons I wanted to tell you about this experience today. The first is that I wanted to emphasize the power of networking. Who you meet and who they could connect you to will help you no matter where you are in your career, whether you're just starting out or have been in it for years. Leverage the list of people that you are already connected to. See if there's anyone that they can connect you to and focus on nurturing all of those relationships. Professional platforms like LinkedIn are a great way to practice this, though they're not the only way, as you saw from my example with Clubhouse. Engage with people's posts, congratulate them on their successes, and start thoughtful conversations. Over time, the goal will be for you to be seen as a great contact to have, rather than just looking for a way to advance your personal career. Now, the second is that you should never close yourself off to any opportunities. Without realizing it, this is exactly what I had done and had been doing for years by not stepping out of my comfort zone and putting myself out there. Sometimes just starting a conversation with someone without a hidden agenda could result in a connection that could change your life. But the point here is to actually start that conversation. Listen to what's being said. Ask questions. It's this genuine conversation that enables you to meet new people, expand your network, and possibly land you opportunities that can further your career. Be open, start genuine conversations, and you, my friend, will build enduring professional relationships. Before you go, I have a surprise for you. For those of you that are curious about Clubhouse, I've put together a massive guide on how to use it, some common terms within the app, and ways that it can help your business or career. Head to the show notes, mariahedian.com/networking, and make sure you grab your own copy of the Clubhouse Guide for Fashion Professionals. And if my story inspired you to take the next step, no matter how scary, please take a moment to rate it, share it, and subscribe. Grab the link, text it to a friend, or better yet, I'd love for you to share it on social. I'll be back here on Friday with more fashion career content. Same time, same place.